Hello darlings and welcome to another Bedroom Guru with me, Nikki Allen. How are you doing? If you're a new subscriber or you've just found this video, this is part of a series of videos called the Grief Programme. This is stage 5 that I'm covering, but there are other videos that cover every stage of the grieving process. I am basically taking my own experiences personally, spiritually, and also as a bereavement trained family liaison officer as a detective in Essex Police. Where I looked after murder victim families and rape victim families. So I'm kind of bringing all of my experiences into one go to help you identify and understand the processes of what you may go through. What you have to remember is grieving is not textbook, so you can jump from one place to the other. This is just basically what has been identified throughout many years of studying people grieving. You know, and you may even come across this if you're grieving, you know, divorce, grieving the breakup of a partnership, grieving the loss of a friendship. It doesn't have to be just grieving loss of a loved one who's passed away. So please bear that in mind as well. So today we're talking about the 5th stage of our grief program, our grief stages, if you like, and this is the upward turn. Now, it's a very difficult space for people who are watching people that go through this because they think they're okay and then suddenly they can dip down. The upward turn is when your first thought of the day isn't the loss. Normally, every waking hour, as soon as we wake up with a bolt of reality that we've lost someone, and that sets our pain and almost our mental health for the day. We suddenly start finding that there are times, perhaps an hour or two, where we actually don't think about the fact that they have passed, whether it be a pet, loved one, or whatever the situation is for you. This is called the upward turn, where we start to actually see things beyond our pain and grief and devastation. Perhaps you might feel like you want to wash your hair. Perhaps you might feel like you're going to take a walk. Just tiny little baby steps where your body's feeling that it's moving away from that absolute, complete devastation and depression that you're experiencing before. It doesn't mean that you've completely smashed the depression. It doesn't mean that you're absolutely brilliant, you know, amen, and everything's great. It just means that you've come into a different stage of acceptance. You're nowhere near acceptance yet, but you are starting to not have the thoughts and feelings of that loss 24/7. You're starting to think of other things, positive things that you haven't thought of for a very long time. Okay, this again is a very fragile time. So please be aware that, you know, you may think, yes, I'm feeling a lot better. You may then have a trigger. Now, this happens a lot with PTSD survivors, okay, where something may trigger off your pain or your loss. This isn't a loss, however, it was something that was so striking to me. It was a rape victim that I was looking after, and she was one of many victims from a serial rapist. And he was particularly nasty. Very nasty man. And I remember walking in, and I'd known her for a very long time, and we were very friendly, you know, on a nice comfortable basis that I could pop in and talk to her, you know, almost like a friend, a professional friend if you like. And I walked in and went, come on love, I said, get your bum in gear, make us a cup of tea. And she went absolutely mental. She lost the plot and came flying at me, raging and punching me and grabbing my hair and screaming. And it's so hard because I'm trying to obviously, you know, defend myself and put her in a position that she can't hurt me, but then I don't want to hurt because I understand something's triggered off. And after a bit of a tussle and me having to hold her down in the end, it turned out that she had just after, she'd been exceptionally violated in a most horrific way. He then said, come on, get your bum in gear and make a cup of tea. And even though it had been a couple of years since she'd been with this monster, this triggered her emotional perception of that happening then and there. Okay, so be aware that even on the upward turn, when you think, "God, I'm feeling a bit better," please don't get me wrong, I'm not putting a downer on it, But don't take it for granted and then start thinking, yes, I can take this on, I can take that on, I'll do this now, I'll go back to work, I'll do this. Just be gentle and just ease yourself into this upward turn and let it progressively go up, up, up before you feel that you can make big decisions. Okay, this is not a time to make big decisions in your life. This is a time for you to honour the process, that perhaps you're coming out of this desperation that you had beforehand. So it's easy that anything can trigger off a dip where you can go back into depression, or even some of the earlier stages. That's absolutely fine. Again, honour the process, go through the motions, but know that you have got to a stage of the upward turn, and then that will return eventually. Okay, so again, it's being so kind to yourself. It's being so kind to yourself. And what I want to say now is, don't bog yourself down what you should and shouldn't be feeling. Again, I just want to give you another example of a lady who, just a normal, lovely mum, and a man had escaped from the local prison. I think it was a prison, I can't remember, that or mental health unit. And it was lunchtime, she just put the washing out and this man come in through the back door. I won't tell you all of it, but basically she was incapacitated, and then he smashed her skull in with a hammer. And I remember listening to the 999 call, and it was quite harrowing to hear. How she survived, nobody knows. How she survived, nobody knows. Now, within a few weeks, she was out at a party, smiling, laughing, and feeling really well controlled. And she actually got people resent her and judge her, because everybody thought, well, she should be grieving, she should be scared, she should be stuck in her house under the quilt, getting over this. But she didn't. She literally dealt with it very well. And even you sometimes think, oh, she's in denial and all the rest of it. No, she just literally thought, this has happened, it's horrific, I am her, I'm alive, and I'm going to carry on living as I should. I'm not going to allow him to affect me. She was the most strongest woman I've ever known. And so, you can't gauge it by a textbook. I have to make that really, really clear. This is, however, though, for people that are identifying this stage of them grieving the loss. You think, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go and do that today. I'm going to take myself down the woods, or I'm going to perhaps go to the shops, whatever it is that you want to do. Just go gentle with yourself, and tell people as well, honesty is the best policy. So I'm feeling a bit better. There are moments when I think so-and-so, I don't think about so-and-so anymore. I don't think about David. I don't think about Sue anymore. I just actually am thinking of other things, which is really refreshing. And so for the person that is supporting the person that's grieving, that's really good. I'm really pleased. Just go easy on yourself. Let's not, make any major decisions at the moment, but I'm really so pleased that you're now, not as haunted as you were with grief and with this devastation that you were feeling during your depressive stage. So that's the upward turn. It's a wonderful relief. It is all I have heard, and it's, for me as well, during my grieving of people that I've lost, is that it's such a relief. It's like this heaviness is lifted from you. You tend to, I remember, the only way I can describe it with my losses is if I'd wake up and for a second I think I'm awake, and then bang, the heaviness would hit me, and it was like a jolt of adrenaline that told me so-and-so's dead. And you're like, oh my God. And then that kind of set me up for the day. Do you know what I mean? It was always in my mind. Everything reminded me of that person. Everywhere I looked. It could even be, I don't know, a bloody breakfast. Oh, I used to have that for breakfast. Oh, I used to do this. I used to do that. Anything can trigger it off. And so don't also, this is the other thing, when you have the upward turn, lots of people will also be relieved, right, that you're feeling better, because some people find it really hard to deal with people that are in depression or in a really, really volatile grieving state. So they go, oh, thank God, she's getting better, he's getting better. Okay, so then if you then feel crap, don't hide the fact from them to appease them, because I've seen this happen before as well, where they go, oh God, they've been so good to me, I don't want them to think I've gone back downhill. Absolutely not. If you go back downhill, you openly go back downhill. Okay, you've got to be honest with your emotions and how you're feeling. If you hide it, you're going to delay your grieving process. Okay, and so many people do it. So many people do it. And again, this can jump you back to the guilt thing. You know, the guilt thing where you think, my God, how could I be laughing? I just laughed then. How could I be thinking of going to the woods? I can't go for a walk and go and have a picnic in the woods, because no, that I can't go and have fun because they're dead. Okay, so you're in a very, very close vow of jumping from the upward turn to then pulling yourself back and checking yourself to say, oh, how dare you think of life going on? She's dead. You know, don't do it to yourselves. I know from a spiritual perspective that they want you to move forward. They want you to live a life. They know that life is eternal. They know that one fine day you'll be up there with them. They also know they can be with you whenever they want. They know that they can visit you, guide you, influence you, whisper in your mind things that are going to help you on your path. They know that. They get over it very, very quickly up there. They're surrounded by the loved ones that they missed, and now they're ready to look after you. Okay? The last thing they want to see, and this is from me doing thousands of readings in my lifetime, right, and connecting with spirit people, the last thing they want to see you do is rock in a corner and not get over them. They want to see you laugh. They want to see you see your friends. They want you to book holidays. They want you to perhaps later on find another partner. Don't hold yourself back by thinking what they would expect of you. They are in a beautiful, happy, serene place. Of course they would rather be down here with you, but it's just not going to happen. It will spiritually, but it's not going to happen physically. So don't pull yourself back thinking what you think they may, think of you. They may judge you for getting on with your life, because absolutely not. The one thing they want you to do is get on with your life. You think about it, put yourself up there, and you look at your family. Would you want your daughters, your sons, your friends, your family to be sitting there month after month mourning your loss? You'd want to see them happy and thriving and moving forward with their life in a healthy time. So don't go back to that grief or the guilt stage where you feel guilty if you suddenly laugh at something, or you want to pop out with your friends. Do it. It's really going to help your mental health, and it's going to help you move further along the line where you can cope on a daily basis without this, without this horrific chest heaviness and pain going on. Okay, do not feel guilty. So this is your upward turn, my darlings. This is when you're finally going to start feeling that little bit of relief physically from the pain, a bit of relief that not every given thought is about your loved one, okay? But be aware that if you drop back down, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong in this. The only thing I would say, as I have said with every video in this series, is that if it goes on for an unimaginable time, where you're just in complete despair for years or months or whatever it is, then you know that something's got to happen, to help you get out of it. But this is completely natural. All of it is. And I love seeing the upward turn in people. I do love seeing it. Especially when I was, as I say, in the police service, watching people just suddenly go, oh, I had a shower today. And I'm like, get in. Okay. Oh, did you? That's nice. Don't overdo it, though. No, I just thought I'd have a shower, and I'll put my hair in for a haircut next week. And you think, get in. They actually are thinking of doing things to help themselves rather than sit like I am at the moment. Hair unbrushed in my PJs. I'm actually rested up because I've got a Zoom show tonight. Which you're going to think, hang on a minute, that was Friday, because I almost would be scheduling this for Sunday for you, so that you have a little gap in between. I should just going to have too much, Nikki, and you'll be like, really, another one I've got to watch? And I hope you enjoyed my meditation, and that was kind of inspired from me doing these videos. I did my meditation walking in the woodlands and around the lakelands, just there, basically in front of me, and I thought it'd also be good for people that are grieving, just to take your mind, away for 30 minutes or however long the video is, and look at nature, look at the simplistic beauty of nature and growth and rebirth and having to rebuild after something that's taken you down, which is what grief does, doesn't it? So perhaps if you do catch this video, perhaps look at that one. It should be around the time that this goes out. I think it's called Mindfulness, Meditative and Mindfulness Walkthrough. give it a go, because I think it may help you. So again, I wish you strength and love for the people that are grieving, and thank you again for your comments and the feedback. I'm so glad I'm helping people that are going through the grieving process, or who have identified with the stages that I have brought to light. So I'm glad it's doing something and helping you. So until next time, stay strong, be kind to yourself, and just take it easy one day at a time. Love you all.